Hi everybody, Karis here, and this video is to give you your new moon focus for tonight's new moon, which is going to be the wee hours of June the 27th, 2014. It's actually at 12:10 a.m. Pacific and 3:10 a.m. Eastern. I think that's right. Check your calendar and make sure. And it'll be on the morning of the 27th. So this video is being recorded Thursday night, and the actual full moon is very early Friday morning. I'm sorry, the actual new moon. So the way that the moon tides work, for those of you who are new to following my information here on YouTube, is that the energy reflected, not generated, it's not caused by the moon necessarily, but the moon kind of tells us what's going on the way that clocks tell us what time it is. Clocks don't make the time what it is, but they just kind of let us know what's happening. And when the moon is full, so when it's really bright, you know, all the crazy things happen in emergency rooms and in psych wards and on and on and on with people, animals, stuff like that. When that happens, it's because the energy is very high, very big. A lot of energy has rolled in, kind of like the tides of the ocean rising up. And when the moon is new or dark, which it's going to be tonight, when it's empty, you can't see it. It's invisible to the earth because of the shadow the earth makes on it. For some reason, there's a correlation so that a lot of our shadow aspects come up. And in the old traditions, they said that the darker the moon was when the darker pieces of ourselves could be activated and awakened. And I think that that's because the new moon is a time of purging. It's a time when the energy is out. So all the things that we need to purge come up. And if we notice them and say, okay, yes, I'd like to get rid of this blockage and this injury and this trauma and this fear and whatever it is, then that energy will take it out. And then when the moon is at its newest, so when it's actually out and the tide is all the way out, you can drop your intention in. And then that absolutely free energy that rolls back in with the moon phase will bring your intention to you. And you don't have to do it at the moment of the new moon, but since the energy is coming back in anyway, it's already going to be flavored with something else if you do it afterwards. So just keep that in mind. You might not see this till tomorrow evening, and that's still fine. You can still do it. Just make sure that you're aware of what's going on in the cycles. And this will also be handy for you from now on, forever, whenever there's a new moon or full moon. So that's what to do with the new moon. And the intentions that I've been given meditatively are for us to shed anything we no longer need, any old traumas, any old outdated belief systems, any old outdated karmic contracts that we no longer need for our best and most amazing unified co-creation of this world that we live in, and as ourselves as participants in it. And go big. If you say you want something really amazing and then you take it down a couple notches because you think, oh, well, maybe I don't deserve that, or how's that going to happen, or whatever it is, all the universal consciousness that you're talking to sees it as is you not being authentic. So go with what you really want. You never know how things are going to come to you. That's not important. But just always put the caveats on this or better, just in case you're aiming a little too low and you don't even know. Shock me with the awesomeness in case what you want would send a shock to your system and the universe won't give it to you because it doesn't want to freak you out. So you can say, shock me with the awesomeness, make it feel really good. And then the surprise doesn't, you know, knock you over the head. And then thirdly, release all outdated contracts. That's a really important one. That way you don't accidentally ask for something that maybe you didn't want, or you don't ask for something that then an old contract that you had signed in the astrals is going to keep that from happening. So remember, this is our timeline. We can change it. It's your timeline. You can change it. You're allowed to. So the last monthly magic book club was this, Shamanic Mysteries of Egypt, Awakening the Healing Power of the Heart. And I'm still not finished with this book. I have about another fifth to go in it, and I'm going to keep reading it every day, doing the meditations every day, because it has been amazing. It's by Nikki Scully and Linda Starwolf, and this is what the cover looks like. It's very Anubis heavy, because he's one of the main guides that takes you through this, and I personally happen to adore Anubis, so I'm happy about that. And then your next book that's going to start tomorrow is going to be The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. And this is not a super new book. It's published a couple decades ago, but it is still very valid, and it's one that I've recommended a lot lately to people when talking about things like manifestation, quantum physics, that kind of stuff, because we can talk about quantum physics, but then we forget that all of those little photons and quarks and electrons and things like that make up all of this. So it's easy to think about when it's really tiny and in a little lab somewhere, but when you think that That's what all of this is. So if I can affect a little bit like that, I can affect a lot by that. It might just take a little bit longer for it to show up because more molecules have to accumulate. And to give you an example of what you can look forward to in this book, it is written like a textbook more than like a novel. So I would advise you to break it up into parts. But there are 3 parts. And just to give you an example of what you can be looking forward to, I'll read you the chapter heading. So part 1 is a remarkable view of reality. Chapter 1 is the brain as hologram, and chapter 2 is the cosmos as hologram. And this is the way that we currently understand holograms in our culture and in our scientific realm, entertainment realm. All right, part 2, mind and body. Chapter 3 is the holographic model in psychology. Chapter 4, I sing the body holographic. Chapter 5, a pocket full of miracles. And chapter 6, seeing holographically. Finally, part 3 is part 3, space and time. Chapter 7 is time out of mind. Chapter 8 is traveling in the super hologram. And chapter 9 is return to the dream time. And a little excerpt I'd like to read you guys. It's the last paragraph of the intro. And this is what he says, and he had just been talking about quantum physics. So don't be afraid. Once you have overcome your fear of the water, talking about diving into this knowledge base, I think you'll find swimming among quantum physics' strange and fascinating ideas much easier than you thought. I think you'll also find that pondering a few of these ideas might even change the way you look at the world. In fact, it is my hope that the ideas contained in the following chapters will change the way you look at the world. It is with this humble desire that I offer this book. I like it. And the wind picks up. Nice little punctuation mark there. All right, so what's coming up? Some fun things. I'm going to offer a 10-week meditation course starting in October. That's going to be good. And a lot of other stuff. Not really ready to release that much of it yet, but I'll give you guys a shot of this glorious pink sunset. So some of the red rocks are on the other side of this hedge here. And back there is the beautiful, let me make you a little bit straight here, beautiful pink sunset. Ooh, and also there's a beautiful fiery one coming up on this side. Check that out. So happy new moon, you guys. Set your intentions tonight or in the morning or whenever. It's always good to set intentions, but if you know where to drop them in the stream, then you have the cosmic and planetary energies assisting you in making it more intense. So go in peace, and I will see you on the astral.